Hi, my name's Allie, and I wanted to make a video about finding peace and how drastically my life has changed since I started implementing certain things that I have learned along the way. And so I'm hoping that the things that I've learned maybe can help other people who are going through what I've been through before. So I used to live the kind of life where I would go out to anything and hang out with anyone, and I just didn't have any discernment. Like, I didn't know how to discern people. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what discernment was. And if you don't know, discernment is basically your it's kind of like almost like an intuition or an instinct, and it's something that you can develop over time. And it's just really about like determining if, you know, something's right for you or if something's not right for you. And a lot of it does rely on like my inner intuition, whether I can sense like if someone is, you know, their energy is like healthy, and it would be like a healthy connection between me and them. And I didn't have like any sense of this before. So I'll just start talking a little bit about how things were before. So yeah, I would just kind of accept like any invitation to do anything or hang out with people who were just asking me to hang out, and I didn't really have a good sense of saying no. Or yeah, I just kind of I operated unconsciously and in certain ways. And so there was a point that I realized I needed to scale back and look at what I was doing. And I realized, you know, I was kind of not really creating my life from an intentional space. And so once I could cut things out that weren't for me, like there's a point where I kind of just cut everything out and wanted to operate from a clean slate. And once I could do that, then I could slowly start building things that I wanted to create in my life. And I'm still in the process of building things that I want to create in my life. And it does take some time, but I think it's totally worth it, because in the long run, you know, a few years of your life, like 5 years of your life, is not that long in comparison to living your whole life kind of unconsciously and just kind of doing whatever and not living the life that you really, really wanted to create. So yeah, I just wanted to, you know, explain like what was going on with me, and maybe this could help other people. I realized that the way that I was living just wasn't the way that I really wanted to live. So I decided that, you know, there were people in my life that I just didn't really want to be around anymore. I had to cut a lot of people out, and that in of itself is really hard to learn how to set boundaries, where I used to live a life of just like, you know, welcoming anyone and anything. Which is, you know, I think there's a difference between being able to coexist with people, and there's a difference between letting people like into your life and like take up space in your life. Because I was letting a lot of things take up space in my life that were not the healthiest things for me. So boundary setting, and I still have to do it to this very day, and it's still not easy to do. And hopefully one day it'll start becoming more and more easy. But, well, not one day it'll start becoming easy, but it's just a progressive thing over time that I think gets easier the more that you do it, and the more that you can start doing it with love and compassion rather than like a fear or a protection or anger, which I think anger does really help though, because once you're angry, you realize that some kind of boundary has been crossed. So if you can use your anger and like channel it into, you know, using that to be able to take actions to create, you know, a healthier life, and to get rid of things that don't belong in your life. Anger is a really important emotion. Like all of the feelings, like anger, fear, like these are all such important things. So wherever you are feeling on that spectrum, like, you know, all of these are useful clues to help you figure out how to navigate your life and like how to be more true to yourself. And so I guess that's where I fell short. Like I wasn't being true to myself because I didn't have like any ability to discern and decide like, okay, what are traits in friendships and people I hang out with that I really want to have and really want to be around. And so this is something like I just kind of like, I just kind of like wiped a lot of the past out by just deciding that I'm just gonna spend a bunch of time by myself and just starting from the beginning. And just like slowly letting that person go, you know, who used to just kind of get blown away by the wind. And once I released a lot of people from my life, then I had to deal with a lot of the mental component. So I was still dealing with, you know, like healing my trauma and things like that. But at least I wasn't repeating like going through things that I didn't need to go through anymore. So I would, you know, like when I was allowing just anyone and anything into my life, it would just constantly be like, I'm going through something, I'm going through something, I'm going through something. Whereas once I stopped physically going through all of that, then I could start working on how to heal within my mind and my body and my energy. So for me, simplification was really important. Just simplifying my life and just doing the basic things that I needed to do, going to work, feeding myself, cooking, and I still come back to that to this very day. Like when I start feeling like I'm getting overwhelmed, I start going back to my basics. Like, what are the basic things that I need as a human being? I need to take care of myself. I need to cook for myself. I need to exercise. I need to have time to meditate. I need to have time to just step back and, you know, process things. I need to just have time to like renew myself, and that's something I find myself constantly, periodically going back to again and again, because you know life can get busy and overwhelming with all these things. So yeah, for me, in the time in my life where I just kind of like I wasn't really hanging out with anyone, I just was doing really simple things, and also just healing and processing a lot of the trauma that I went through and the reasons why I attracted people who were not so great for me, and also realizing like, okay, so what do I want? So there was a point where I was focused on like releasing a lot of it and just processing a lot of it, what I went through in my life. And then there was a point where I started creating more of like writing down the type of people that I wanted in my life and just coming up with the type of life that I wanted to have. So yeah, I released like the old patterns, and you know, they still come back. It's not like they completely disappear or anything. Like, life is just a process, and it's just the more work you put into it, the more work you'll get out of it. And it just happens like little by little, but you will see, like I did see my life start to change for the better. And I more recently have been attracting, you know, better and better people into my life that are a better fit for me. So something has worked. So that's why I wanted to share this, and I'm still working on a lot of other things in my life, like getting my career aspect of my life going, rather than, you know, having to work jobs that are not necessarily like where I want to end up in the long run. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. And to this day, I still have to make sure that I'm setting appropriate boundaries with people, because there's sometimes, you know, I just want to be nice, and it's not necessarily nice to yourself if you are accommodating other people and, you know, expending your energy on other people when you yourself needed to, you know, expend your energy on yourself. So I have found myself also having difficulties with setting boundaries, because I want to be nice and I want to be helpful to people. I want to help people, but in the long run, like, I need to fill my own cup before I fill anyone else's cup. So if I don't have like extra time and extra energy, I can't give that to people. I can't give the very little like that I have to other people right now, because I'm working to build my own life. And so I don't want to get caught in other people's like patterns and cycles of things, and while still having compassion for other people too. So another thing with boundaries was that I had to learn how to find out what my truth was, and then how to speak that truth to other people and not being attached to their reaction, because some people didn't have the best reactions to me setting boundaries with them, especially if I had to kind of tell them like, you know, I'm sorry, but I don't think this friendship is healthy for me. Like, this isn't healthy for me. Not everyone is gonna react in a way that is gentle. And so I've learned that, you know, to detach myself from other people's reactions and just say things, you know, out of a place of love for myself. And, you know, of course you want to feel compassion for the other person, but I just wanted to share that, you know, like realizing like what my actual truth is and learning how to speak that without being attached to the reaction from somebody else was really, really important and healthy for me in order to you know, find peace and set those boundaries. So that is all that I wanted to share today. I just wanted to talk about, you know, how I found that peace by letting go of old things in my life and just taking some distance and learning how to set boundaries. So yeah, I hope that maybe you got something out of this video. If one person gets something out of this video, I'll be overjoyed. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to see more content. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one.